Hi everybody, we are Mike and Brenda Baker, and today we are going to be talking about 3 tips on how to balance work and home life. That was our dog.
If you heard him.
Oh geez.
Anyway, 3 tips on how to balance work and home life. Hey, we're shooting this in our house. What do you expect? I'm just glad we don't have a cat. Otherwise, it'd walk right across you.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 1, be playful. Don't be so serious. This goes for both men and women. Men think that they can't be playful. No, okay. Men don't call it playful. We call it goofing off. All right? So don't be afraid to goof off. I mean, if you don't have... okay, we'll talk social media for just a second. All right? If you don't have a TikTok account, get one. All right, my wife and I, we watch it separately. We watch it separately, but we've done stuff together on TikTok, and it's playful. All right, now we've said in other videos that I'm not a super fun guy, but I can video just fine. Okay, so I'm not gonna dance or anything, so don't get me wrong. But
what? You're not gonna dance with me on TikTok?
No. Anyway,
Michael.
Anyway, so be playful. You know, don't be afraid to have fun with one another. You got married for a reason. I don't care if this is your second or third marriage. You got married for a reason. At some point, you decided that you wanted to be with that person, all right? And I always say, make your remarriage your last marriage, okay? And that doesn't mean hide the body under the porch. That means stick with them, okay, until the very end, because that's what you committed to do. So I'm going to say it again. Be playful. Goof off. Have fun with each other, which leads to number 2.
In a minute, though.
In a minute. Also,
one of the things I wanted to say about being playful is that is actually what's really helped Mike and I during the quarantine. We've had a lot of fun together. I mean, not just sexual fun, but, you know, lots of funny little, he'll crack a joke and it's just hilarious to me because he's so adorable.
I feel adorable. Things you can do that are playful, like get on YouTube. YouTube has a ton of dance videos, all right? And I mean, you learn how to salsa, learn how to two-step, go learn something together, all right? I mean, you can build a stinking nuclear weapon off of YouTube, for crying out loud.
Oh my.
So, I mean, go find something that you guys can do together, watch together, you know, but have fun with it. So that leads us, leads us to number 2.
The very uncomfortable subject.
It's not uncomfortable at all. Remember, this is 3 tips on how to balance work and home life, all right? Sex will help that. If you are not having sex, and I'm talking about on a regular basis, and I'm not going to go into frequency and, you know, rhythm and all that. No, the whole point is a healthy sexual relationship is absolutely necessary to your marriage. I've often given this illustration. I'll give it again, okay? If you want a quality chair or a cheap chair, you've got 2 choices. If you get a chair that's just put together with screws, you've gone to Walmart and bought a chair, okay? If you want a chair that's going to last a long time, that will put up with your weight every time you sit on it, then you're going to buy a quality chair that has quality wood, screws, and glue. Okay, now some of you are saying, well, Walmart chairs have glue. Yeah, like this much, okay? So the point is sex is indeed the glue that will hold your relationship together. It tramples every barrier out of the way. You want to balance work and home life. You want to be able to talk about those things. Intimacy, sexual intimacy, helps knock that wall down so that those conversations can be had and so that playfulness can come about as well.
You got nothing? Go on.
You got nothing
I
for
have
that?
nothing to say.
Well, I would like to hear what you have to say.
You did
about
an
it.
ample job.
Oh, that means okay.
Well, no.
Ample.
You covered it.
That's nice. I did an ample job.
Well,
all right.
What
So,
word would you want me to use?
Great, stupendous. You're a words person.
You did amazing. Thank you.
Anyway, so that leads us to number 3. So we've talked about being playful. We've talked about having a lot of sex, and don't be going to your spouse and saying, "Look what Mike said."
Yeah.
I want you to listen to this. Okay, that is not what you're allowed to do.
Yeah.
You guys have to agree on it, and you know, you got to talk about it. Just talk about it. It's fine. So you got to be best friends.
Yeah.
This is number 3. I have a best friend who lives in Oregon. Okay. My wife has a best friend who also lives in Oregon because her best friend, So we have best friends. They're another married couple in Oregon. But here's the point. Ultimately, this is my best friend. This is the one I spend all of my time with. This is the one that I invest my time and my money in, and my relationship skills and my life. And this is the one I built a family with, and this is the one I'll grow old with. This is my best friend. It's okay to say that I have this other best friend, okay? But ultimately, you guys have to be best friends, which means you're committed to one another, all right? It doesn't mean that you are committed when it's convenient. This is not convenient committance. This is committed. Yeah, I'm not gonna, that's a word.
Oh, okay.
So we're talking about digging in and making it happen no matter what, which means you've got to view her or him as your best friend.
And let's talk about your children. Are your children the center of your life? If they are, you need to stop that crap right now.
If they're the center of your life, your spouse is not your best friend.
Exactly. Your children. You're trying to make your children your best friends, and that's ridiculous when they're young. So, our firm stand on this. We have seen so many marriages get to 20, 25, 30 years and then break up because mom and dad did not do anything with their relationship while the kids were growing up. That is ridiculous. You don't need to do that. So, if your kids are the center of your life, let's talk about that. Go ahead.
If the kids are the center. Let me give you an example, all right? Now, this one, it's called child-centered parenting. And the reference, when we first learned about it, we were taking the oh goodness, what's the name of it? Growing Kids God's Way, and we were teaching it as well. And it became abundantly aware to us, I became abundantly aware that child-centered parenting is probably one of the leading causes of, marriages falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
So, because you want to know why that couple gets to 20, 25, 30 years? Because they never spent time being a couple. Okay, because they were child-centered. And when the kids left, what was there? Two strangers. Okay, which is still not enough of a reason to divorce. Sorry. So, if you think, let me give you a little heads up. You're sitting there, most child-centered parents will say one of a couple things. You're cracked. My kids need me. No, your spouse needs you to be a spouse, and your kids need you to be mom and dad before they need you to be, your kids need you to be husband and wife before they need you to be mom and dad. Because mom and dad is subjective to husband and wife. You were husband and wife before, you'll be husband and wife after. Parent, mom and dad, that all happened in between.
Okay, now, if you are in a blended family, let's talk about this. Mom and dad, positions in the household, you probably got married with kids. Mm-hmm. If you came from other marriages and you've been divorced. Okay, so how does that relate?
As far
to
as
what you were saying about
well, mom and dad are in office. Okay, pettiness. Now, granted, these are 3 tips on how to balance work and home life, but we really need to really nail home this be best friends part. Child-centered parenting will, so let me back up here. Child-centered parenting will absolutely destroy any of the best friendship, okay? Yes. A lot of parents who are child-centered parenting either tell us that we're crazy or deny that they're child-centered. Here's a quick question for you. 2 quick questions. The first one is, if your 4-year-old can determine when you have sex more so than you can, you are child-centered parents.
Because they keep coming in the room, they won't stay in their bed, they interrupt every time.
And you are setting no boundaries, and you are telling that kid that they run the show.
Yep.
So although you wouldn't take sex advice from a 4-year-old kid, you'll certainly let him tell you when you can have it.
Yeah.
Okay. So the second thing is the question that I ask of a lot of men that I've counseled over the years, and they hate it. If you're in the ocean and there's your spouse and there's your child, and the ship is sinking and you can only save one, which one would it be? Now, I would say 98% of people say the child. Wrong answer. That is the wrong answer. Why? Because you should be secure with what happens with that child, and we're not going to go into the whole spiritual discussion there. But the most important person in your world started out as that spouse, and the most important person in the world will end with that spouse. That is the way it's supposed to work. And in order for that to happen, the kids have to see that they are number one. The stepkids especially need to see it because they've already seen one, or maybe in your house, two torn asunder. And that's my big word for the day, asunder. And they've got to see that you're on the same page. I have another training I do sometimes called same page thinking. But the whole point is they have to see that you're best friends. They have to see you've got each other's back. And when they see that and they see that successful marriage, they'll go out and they'll have a marriage just like it.
Now, when it comes to stepkids, your stepkids may or may not listen. It doesn't matter. Do it anyways. You know, there's probably some of you watching this right now and you're offended and you're upset and you're going to keyboard warrior us. Please move along. Don't even bother leaving a comment because it's the facts. We have seen hundreds of couples fall apart because they spent so much time on their kids that they didn't spend any time on their marriage, and it never works.
And if you think, you think you're going to do it later, you won't.
Or they are so unhappy in their marriage because they don't have fellowship with their spouse. They don't have the best friend thing that we're talking about. They go on throughout their kids' life and divorce as soon as they're gone because they're in hell, basically. Now, your marriage can be the closest thing to heaven or the closest thing to hell. It's up to you. So we're just trying to give you the tools to make it the best thing you've ever had. So
remember, be playful. Sex will help that. You can use that term, by the way. It's not copyrighted. And be best friends.
That's all for today. We really hope that this helped you. And you know, if you have a comment that's positive, go ahead and leave it down below. Or if you want to argue a little bit, that's fine too. But we're going to stand on what we say. So we hope that this helped you. We will talk to you again soon. Bye.